Hello, hello my friends. Again a video from the jungle, this time a different place. I'm in the village and this is where I have been for like 1 week. Basically spending my time in here. Can you see me? In this mosquito net. I was meditating all of the time for the past about 1 week, and I came here to the village to heal myself from the notorious coronavirus. So I guess I have to talk about this. First of all, see the place. I'm in the place of my friend in the village, so you can see it's pretty simple, whether you call it a house or some kind of shelter. Oh, right, my guitar. I got my guitar, so I also played my guitar a bit. You see plenty of bananas. Would you like to eat some? We are in the jungle, right? But let's go outside. It looks nicer outside. Alright. You see today's cloudy, but it hadn't rained yet. So this is where I am. All good? All good. Yes, I thought maybe the batteries went down. So I came here to heal myself, and now I'm good. And I think to go back tomorrow to my retreat, to my hermitage place. Let's throw this here. Alright, so I guess I have to tell you the story, which is not the most exciting one for me to talk about. But I think I have to talk about this, and some of you know about this. So basically, yeah, I got the virus, I got the COVID, and it is one big ridiculous story, which is just ridiculous. So why is it ridiculous? Imagine 1 year living all alone as a hermit in the jungle, in the virgin jungle, far away from everybody. What's the chance of getting the virus, huh? So the only person I would see is my friend, who's also living in this village, and I'm living in his coffee plantation there in the jungle. This is where I have the house. So he would come to harvest his coffee beans, and I managed to get sick from him. So that is the first thing that is so ridiculous, that you're in the middle of the virgin jungle and you still are able to get sick. The second thing is I consider myself a strong person, and I get sick very rarely, okay? So the fact that I got sick from the only person I see is another really weird, really strange, really ridiculous, as I'm saying, thing. And yeah, and the symptoms I had were pretty severe, otherwise you wouldn't see me here. If you know me well, you know it is very uncommon to see me leave the retreat place. And that is another ridiculous thing I will say, is that rarely I get sick, right? But if I do get sick, the best place for me to go is to go into the nature, be alone, and get whole by myself in the nature. That is the best place for me to heal. I don't ever go, ever to hospitals, you know. So if I get sick, I go to nature. This is where I heal. But this time it was different. This time I was in my jungle, virgin jungle, and I got to the village. I got here, and this is something kind of unthinkable thing for me. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm happy that I'm in a beautiful place. So even though I'm in a village, I'm also alone all of the time. For this week, I have been alone or almost alone all of the time. In my under my mosquito net, meditating just all of the time. Mm. And as you see, the place is pretty peaceful, except for when the dogs or that crazy dog starts barking in the middle of the night, doesn't let one sleep. So that's the place. Mm-hmm. Yesterday I spoke about the same thing I'm talking about now. I spoke in Lithuanian, so as you probably know, I have an audience in Lithuania too, and they speak Lithuanian. So yesterday I spoke and I made long videos. It's overall like 1 hour. I I don't think I'll make it now. I'll try to make it way shorter. I hope you are okay with that. um, yeah, the story is, whether it is long or a short story, definitely it can be made into a long story. I got sick for, yeah. So basically, as you know, I have been living in a retreat, being on a retreat for basically 1 year, with exception of one gap when I just went to visit my son. I was in Lima for 2 months with my son, and then I came back. So overall, it's even more than 1 year in total time spent alone in the jungle. And yeah, my retreat is slowly coming to an end. I'm about to go see my son again. It's just unexpectedly a week ago I got sick from my friend who came to visit his coffee, to harvest his coffee, and he had very strong, I would say, symptoms. He was his condition was really grave, but he managed to get back here to the village himself. I stayed, and the next day, yeah, I started having symptoms myself, and it went real intense, out of nowhere. To make it short, to make the story short, uh, or shorter. So I started to have really weird experiences. Basically, the most intense part being my heart feeling so taxed, so weakened that, yeah, man, my heart felt really weak. Really, I could definitely feel my heart. If you don't know where the heart is, and that's the only time I have experienced this kind of feeling in my life, except for ayahuasca ceremonies. Sometimes during ayahuasca, when a situation, when ayahuasca is intense, when experience is intense, and when you feel like you are about to die, in these experiences are where your heart gets really taxed, and sometimes your breathing too, during ayahuasca, when you drink this shamanic plant. This is the only comparison I could give. This is the only experience I had where I would feel my heart like this taxed, like with this virus. Needless to say, with this virus I felt somewhat less, not as intense as in ayahuasca. Yeah. And another thing was a bit, I had difficulty breathing, I had difficulty, exhaustion to the mosquitoes are actually around me. So I had difficulty breathing in, like exhaustion, even though my my lungs, my nose were all opened, no congestion, nothing. But I just felt so tired to breathe in, which was also another very particular and interesting experience. And I'm also wondering why would this virus, come on, you see Dolama killing mosquitoes. Supposedly yogis don't kill. uh, and here you have another. Somebody who is pissed off. What are you bothered about, huh? Mosquitoes also? Yeah, so I have a few dogs here I'm taking care of, and a bunch of chicken too. Yeah. What I was talking about. Yeah. So already 10 minutes, almost 11. So what is really interesting to me that this virus or COVID virus, whatever, attacked the parts of my body which I consider the strongest in me, basically heart and lungs. Basically, with my pranayama practices, these are actually the muscles or the parts of my body which I would consider like good. Like you're like, yeah, man, like I have strengthened them. For example, if I go spar with somebody, like in fighting, the good thing about me that I always see is that I have more resistance than other people. Even though other people may be like running and doing training, like for what's the called, like endurance, right? Resistance. For me, I do none of these, none of running and none of these things. But I guess it's pranayama which made me resistant, and my heart and my breathing, my lungs in a pretty good condition, in a very good condition, I would dare to say. So it is interesting that this virus would attack exactly those parts of my body, which, yeah, you understand. Okay, you see also chicken. Do you see behind me? So I have some chicken too to take care of while I'm here. Getting back to the story, still interested to hear? The story's not that short. Let's see in how it's already 12 minutes talking to you. I don't have much batteries. I have to try to talk more fast. Move my tongue more fast, or maybe. Yeah. So I started presenting straight away intense symptoms like this failure of my heart, difficulty of my heart, difficulty breathing, nausea, weakness, intense weakness. Later on, I started, like, my body would start trembling, my fingers start trembling when I finally was, yeah, my legs, if I stand up, would be trembling. So, another thing also very interesting was a state of, like, delirium. My mind, my mental state was different. I would say even interesting. It was a bit like during ayahuasca. What I was experiencing was, I would dare to say, I would say it was more like even a spiritual experience, and I was feeling myself more. Yeah, I could feel myself getting closer to them. Should I say death? This is what I mean. So I knew that indeed I'm running risk. I'm getting closer to the, let's say, the death, the line with the death that I know very well. I have been there many times, right? I was excited about that because a yogi, to tell you the truth, may sound very intense, but it is intense. A true yogi, a true shaman, a true spiritual seeker, what that person is seeking is death. Death of an ego, death of limitation, death of limitation. Just as somebody else is seeking money, women, sex, cars, whatever, fame, a yogi, a spiritual seeker, is searching for death, death of limitation. But that death doesn't come easy. That death comes with a price of death. And as we know, death is something that is very intense, and therefore it is intense. However, a true yogi, a true shaman, a true spiritual seeker would be consciously searching for it. Going into retreats, starting dietas, doing what they do, they search for this, you could say, the most uncomfortable thing to face. And for me, and physical illness can be it if it is very intense. For example, I have had intense encounters with physical death, and I can say that these encounters had been life transforming and, for me, spiritually transformative. So I was excited about this new thing, coronavirus thing. Why it's coronavirus? Basically, here in the village, the friend who came to infect me is from this village, and in this village there are quite many people sick with this. They call it Brazilian COVID. You know, we're not that far away from Brazil here in Peru, and yeah, there are many people infected. I'm not very comfortable talking about this. I still find it somewhat strange that I have left the place, you know. I wanted to fight by myself. I wanted to deal with this illness. I was excited about, as I'm saying, to face the death, face this illness. Was actually my dream. So even some time ago, when this COVID stuff appeared, I was thinking I would like to get sick with COVID just to see in how many days I can beat this virus up. You know, everybody's talking about, everybody's afraid of it. I want to experience it in my body and then see for what it is, you know. Well, my dream came true 1 year later. I just didn't imagine that I would leave my jungle place and go to the village to heal, which is almost like infamous thing for me being a yogi. It's like, you know, it wasn't easy for me to take the decision to come down, come to the village, leave my jungle, virgin jungle. Now I'm in the jungle, you see, I'm in the jungle, but it's not virgin jungle as you can see. It's civilization, right? You even saw this, what is like moto, they call it motocar, you know. Yeah. So, uh, and I find it maybe difficult or time not easy to express why I finally made my decision to come down, come here, which was a very difficult decision for me to take, but I'm trying to make it explain more quickly. Basically, I felt this was a more responsible thing for me to do because I can still practice being here, I can still meditate being here. However, if my situation would get worse, as everybody's saying that, with this COVID, it just gets worse and worse. So if the second day I had such intense symptoms, then what about, the next day I might not be, after some time I not have been able to walk to this place, which actually, I was doubting if I can make it because I was so weak. It was difficult for me with my body trembling, my heart, weak, and yeah, man, it wasn't even very easy to stand up, to stay, to walk. It wasn't very hard either. I don't want to exaggerate anything. Mm. I felt I shouldn't risk my life this time. That's why I came. I felt that I want to see my son again. So yes, I have attachments. I want to see my son again. I don't feel like ready to leave him yet. I would like him to have a father for at least for some more years. Right. If not for him, I would I would have stayed. No question about that for me. If not for my son. And also I felt that, um, as if my life is, is is not just belongs not only to me, but my life belongs to my son that needs a father, and my life belongs to somebody, to you. Here is the lens of the camera here. So my life also belongs to you, because there are people who care about me, and people to whom I still have to. My mission's not over yet, so to say. So yeah, I came here. It wasn't an easy walk. Took me some time to get here. You know, the way to come here from that virgin jungle place is also a bit challenging, but I managed. And yeah, I came here to heal myself here. Very unhappy with the situation, this ridiculous situation. People were telling me I have to take like these shots, injections, antibiotics, whatever. People, pills, of course, tablets, all kinds of medicines. People were telling me, you know, they were like, I will get you the oxygen tank so you can breathe. You have difficulty breathing, you know, we will get you that. I just, I didn't take any of that. No pills, no medicines, no nothing. I healed myself with my mantras, Mahamrityunjay, Triambakam mantra, and with my pranayamas, Bastrika pranayama, Nauli Kriya, Samkumbhakas. I healed myself with that in 3 days. Only 3 days I had symptoms. Right? The first or the first 2 days I had this, as I'm saying, heart, breathing, nausea, delirium, and the last symptom day I had only headache and delirium, like a bit like mental state affected. After that, none. Just feeling exhausted for maybe 1 or 2 more days, or I was still sleeping more. So in just a few days I healed myself from this infamous, notorious, whatever, COVID. One regret that you might find funny is that I, right now I'm thinking, I maybe wish I had been sick for a longer time, so I could have observed it more, you know, kind of understand how it is working. Especially, it was exciting to see how it is affecting the heart and the breathing. That was the interesting thing. I was interested to see how the hell this virus is able to do these things, you know, so specific. Like the first time in my life I would feel such particular symptoms, right? So I was excited to check it out, how this virus is doing that. But I didn't get much of the chance, you know. I got my mantras, my whatever practices worked too well, and man, I I didn't have much chance to investigate and check out how this virus is, and then maybe find a way to, or practices to, I don't know, to recommend to others, except for the ones I have been doing myself. I healed myself in a few days, while the people in the village, all of them, as far as I know, I don't know these people, but as for my friend in whose luxurious house I'm staying, according to him, and he was sick too, everybody just takes, you know, shots once they have the first symptoms, or, you know, they just take shots, they take medicines. There is nobody that I have heard of that didn't take any medicines, and still they usually take like 2 weeks to heal, 2 weeks, even 3 weeks to heal, as they say. Encamado 2 semanas, basically in the bed for 2 weeks. They don't get out of the bed for 2 weeks. And me, in whatever 3-4 days, with no meds, nothing, right? Just my practices. I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that. I do feel strong. I am strong. At the same time, I feel a bit ridiculous talking about all of this situation, man. Yeah, I feel a bit ridiculous talking about this whole situation. About the yogi who spent 1 year just to get sick with the only person he would meet in his hermitage, and he would get sick so strong that he would have to go to the village, to heal. That's Oh, you want me to see me in the moto car? Let's see. Let's sit in this. Ah. In this Peruvian transportation. Ah. How well can you see? So, yeah. Not too comfortable to film though. Maybe at the back seat. Luxurious house and luxurious vehicle as well, huh? So, yeah. I'm good now. I got healed. Oh man, plenty of mosquitoes actually. I'm thinking to go back to my jungle place tomorrow. I still have some things to do there. I have left in a hurry. I have to go back there, do some more things, and then I'll go to Lima to see my son. I haven't seen him since mid of December. It's been like 4 months or something, right? And yeah, when I get to Lima, I will be able to upload this video too, so that I'm making now. A little bit of my jungle views. Oh, I'm actually even surprised. I thought that the battery would die. Didn't die. 27 minutes, still recording. That's good. I was able to make this whole story short. I'm quite happy about that. Of course, I could talk more. Come on. Mosquitoes flying around my ears. So I guess I'll go back to my mosquito net to continue my practices, alright? Yeah. Love to you from the jungle, from the village in the jungle, not the jungle that you are used to see Dolama in, not the real wild virgin jungle, but kind of more civilized one. However, as you can see, when I started the retreat, the day before I started the retreat, I shaved myself, shaved my head, and now you can see I have hair everywhere. 4 months, or about that. Yeah, that's the end of the video.